a wave out. There you go.
Hello.
Draw a wave.
How are you?
Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome to Saturday. We're so happy to see you. It's such a good thing.
Is it warm where everybody is? Like, are you able to get outside? Some of you are in the north because I don't know. Is it warm? Is it decent? Because here it's phenomenal.
It went from 80 Fahrenheit yesterday to 40 today in Minnesota. So yesterday was hot, and today I went outside and was like, So
I don't know what that is in real temperatures, so I will just
Sorry.
take your word for it.
It was really hot, and then it was not hot.
Fair enough.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gary,
Yeah.
We're
all
never
I know
sure if
about
we can
Ken-
have. Sorry, I was
No,
going
no.
to say, I never know if it's still warm enough to leave windows open at night or cold enough that you want the windows shut and the curtains and maybe even the heat pump, because it's just sort of in that shift between autumn and winter. So, yeah, we had a cold one last night, but it's beautiful this morning.
It's like you're on
Nice.
the opposite side of the world or something. It's weird.
I know, right? I'm channeling to you from the future.
Oh, you're in the future? I need some stock prices, please. And some game.
Right.
Dairy is usually a good investment.
We're going to do the Biff thing from Back to the Future. We're just going to bet on games we already know the outcome to.
I like it.
Absolutely.
So, first of all, thank you all very much for coming. Thank you for everybody joining us and coming in. Thank you to everybody who's part of the readathon. I just got to say, like, overall, from my perspective, I'm loving it. Watching everybody talk and kind of go back and forth about what they're doing and seeing other people really starting to encourage other people to, you can do it, get it done, is just amazing to me. Like, what's your experience been like this week?
Lots of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You kind of had it in a nutshell.
Yeah. It's been, my biggest goal for my team this month was to meet new people, read great books, have a great time doing it. And, I've been hearing comments about people saying, hey, like, I can't wait to keep reading with you guys after April, and like continuing the relationships that are being built this month that just makes me really happy. So
Yeah,
No, the
definitely.
being creative,
Friendships.
really, really cool. Like it's been phenomenal. And even, like, across teams, like even in the team chat, you can just see that, like, it's a community thing, and it's been really cool that way too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been the same for us. I love seeing everyone saying, "Oh, I read this book. This is how I felt about it," and someone else going, "Oh my gosh, that's been on my TBR for so long. So glad to hear." And then they go back and forth and get into that whole bookish discussion. So it's been great to see all the discussions and people connecting in that way.
Yeah. It feels a little bit like matchmaking. You're like putting all these fabulous people in a room and going, meet some people.
That is
Exactly.
absolutely true. That
It's awesome watching it flourish. And you're like, hey, look at all these people who perhaps never interacted before because of the variety of discords, and really getting those connections with people who suddenly are like, oh, that's my favorite as well. Have you read? And, it's awesome.
Oh wow, somebody's really excited.
Yeah, go!
They're playing Mario Kart in the back.
Right? We're actually running to go see that movie tonight. I've heard it's actually good. So
It is good.
see.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, my youngest is addicted to Mario, so
Nice.
we
You're
went
listening.
last weekend. Yeah, no, he saw the trailer and he got mad when I couldn't put it on, like, immediately, and it's like, that's not even out. He's like, I don't care, I saw it. Like,
Right.
You're the dad. You should just be able to,
right?
Your magic. Come on.
So yeah, we definitely made plans to take him the very first weekend, just because it's like,
Awesome.
I have to disappoint, because it was always during my basketball games. Like, every commercial was break Mario would play, and it was like, all right.
Gotta happen. Yeah.
Well, and I want to talk real quick about Nancy's comment below.
Yep.
Are we helping?
Yes.
I'm
Because there's
gonna go
books
with
coming
Tori.
off the TV.
We are reading books. And the one thing I will say about this too is I think a lot of the books that are getting read, at least in my team that I'm seeing, there's been a lot of like the recent addition to the TBR prompts being filled, but a lot of people are reaching for books that have been on their TBR for a long time. So yes, even though we're adding new ones, sorry guys.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then, books that they've been talking about reading for ages, they just needed a group to get them to do it.
Yes.
So yeah,
It's the ones that just keep falling down the pile, not because they're not great, but because nobody's talking about them or there's been no hype around them. But I will say I've only had one, and it's the only prompt that has had one response, and that's for the oldest publication date. So that's clearly been one that's been not as easy to find the second prompt for, perhaps.
Right.
Which is why I haven't used that one. Because
I've actually had quite a few people use it, and then published in the 20th century, like a lot of the older books. So I think that's where we're knocking out a lot of that TBR that we always mean to read, but just never did.
Yep.
So
second book in a series is doing really well too.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is.
Everybody starts
is
the
awesome.
series and then gets sidetracked. And now everyone's like, oh, no, I need to go back to that series because I really liked it.
Well, and that's the thing. Like you guys came up with all the ideas for this, and that's one of the ones that I absolutely love, because whoever came up with it said, all of us will read the first book in a series, and we go, oh, that was good, and then never get back around to it. And having second book be one of the, hey, if you want the points, you got to do it.
Yes.
I think it's just a fantastic way to go.
Very guilty.
Right.
So let me ask you a question. So why is that? Because probably, and I'm just going to talk about ones where we like the first book. Is it a case where we don't like it enough to continue, or is it because it's the Crow new shiny thing, or what is it that makes us go, oh, I'll get to that second book never?
Well, I'm notorious for this, and it's a habit that I'm trying to get out of, is to drop a series after book one or put it on such a long pending list that by the time I want to get to book two, I have no idea what happened in book one.
And you have to go back and reread, and that puts it off because you don't have time to read two books. You only have time to read one.
Exactly. So for me, I found that if there is even a little bit of closure at the end of book one, I'm like, oh, cool, that was a fun story. There's nothing else that could possibly happen in this series.
Right. Yeah.
Often the way, though, it either has you so hooked that you must immediately move on,
Or have like
you do put it down and it just slides down the list as, squirrel happens.
I think it
So
depends
many
on the
books.
series too, because I think being that we read sci-fi fantasy, a lot of the series
That's awesome.
are massive, right? Even if it's a series where there's only like 5 or 6 books, oftentimes they're fairly lengthy books, and so continuing a series and finishing a full series like that is a way bigger commitment than reading a book.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
my issue is like I've always been burned. Like I'll try to binge a series and I get burned out on that author, because then it's like I know where they're going, I know what they're doing. Like it's not new to me anymore, and it's like I see all these other books, and so then it's like, so I do it to myself because I'm scared that I'll get burned on the books or burned out and not want to read them at all, and then that's
Which is a good call
not fair.
for just a trilogy. Authors, if you can't do a standalone, can we keep it to trilogies?
Yes, ma'am.
That'd be great.
Looking at you, Tori.
It's going to be a trilogy.
And
Okay.
Because otherwise it becomes so frightening.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, that's too many books. And
I
know.
like the authors that are able to like stay in the same world, but do like Hobb or Abercrombie, people that are like giving you different parts of the world in different trilogies. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, when you can finish a trilogy and stop, and you're not in the middle of a story.
Right.
That's brilliant. Pick it up again later when you've got that space and you like the author and you like the world. And yes, a trilogy isn't too scary to go into.
Yeah.
Well, and I suffer from guilt. Like I get done with the first book and there's 2 more left in the trilogy. It's very hard to leave those sitting there for too long. I mean, unless I just didn't like the book all that much, I'm more than happy to stop a trilogy because I was like, it's okay, but no particular reason to continue. But if it was like, what was it, Tori? You and I were talking about it, Blade itself, right? I read Blade itself and really, really enjoyed it, and for the next year, it was like, get to the other two, get to the other two, get to the other two, and then I finally did it. And like right now, Hob is sitting there for me going, we got the third one. Come on.
Yeah. No, I'm all here to cheerlead you through that one, Andy.
I am so down with Hob at this point. Yeah. I don't even know what to say. And like, again, it's all because of this community, because so many people are so passionate about Hob. And I tried Hob, 15 years ago. And I was like, okay. Whatever, didn't hit me.
It's the discussion that gives you that richness, and
Well, and I would have never given it another chance if everybody hadn't said, "Oh, you got to read Hob, you got to read Hob." And so I went back and basically found out I was wrong. It was like,
well, you said that, okay. See, I wasn't the one that said that. Just so everyone knows.
You were just one of the people that said that. So I wanted to check in with you guys. Like, this is about you. I'm curious. You're participating. You're going. You're cheering everybody on. But personally, for you, is there one book that's standing out for you? That before the thing began, that you were really looking forward to, or one that had been on the TBR for a long time, or that one that you were really excited about? Is there one that stood out for you guys?
I've had Will White's Cradle series on my TBR since Andrew Wizardly Reed started hyping it way back when, and I was like, that actually sounds sort of interesting. And it's outside my comfort zone, but he was so excited about it and so into it. I was like, maybe I do want to read it. Maybe I don't. And it was short. So, of course, it falls into the whole, I can get to that whenever. And I never do. Mm-hmm. And so that's been my outside my comfort comfort zone read. And I'm about 80% through it, and it's amazing. Okay. I'm loving it. Okay. I'm like, nice. Definitely. Nice. So that makes my next one really easy, because my continuous series, second in the series, is going to be the next one. So that's going to be Unsold and Soulsmith this month.
Nice.
Which is exciting, because there's always that fear of, what if I don't like it?
Oh, yeah.
Although it would have evened me up with Andrew, because he doesn't like some of the Hob books. So we could have had an interesting argument on that.
Well, we all understand that he's wrong.
Exactly.
How about the rest of you guys?
Blade itself was definitely mine, because I'm vlogging it right now, and like at the beginning of my vlog, when I release it, I'm going to put clips of every time this book, I was holding it up in a monthly TBR video and didn't end up reading it. This poor book, like, it earned its space on my readathon TBR for sure. And part of it was the hype too. I think I tend, when people like, oh my gosh, you're going to love this so much, and they kind of get like way overexcited about it, then I start to go, okay. Yeah. And so I was afraid of the hype a little bit, because like you guys, I was like, what if I don't love it?
Yeah.
So spoiler, I love it.
Yeah.
So and Glokta is an awesome character, despite my best efforts to prove the contrary.
That's almost impossible.
Right? Yeah.
And I just have to ask real quick, in reading Glokta, do you hear Peter Dinklage's voice or no?
No. Okay.
Nope. From Jump Street, that guy was Peter Dinklage in my head.
Yeah, I mean, I can see him being an excellent voice actor for the character for sure. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So, Kay, George, how about you guys?
Yeah, mine, funny enough, mine was also a recommendation from Andrew at Wizardly Reads, and it was
Nobody should listen to that guy. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Right? I was Legend by David Gemmell, which is a more classic fantasy. And when I started it, I talked to Tori about this, because she also read it. At the beginning, I was apprehensive, but it definitely won me over by the end.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's one of those books where you stick with it, the better it gets. Yeah. And I was really happy for that.
Yeah, it was fun reading the same book at the same time, because we were kind of boxering back and forth about it, which was fun.
Yes. Yeah.
That's cool.
Jordan, how about you?
I have a couple. One was my more recent edition, and that was Heliotrope by Palmer Pickering. Just, like, totally blew me away of how immersive that world is and how good it was, especially for a standalone novel. That made it really, really fun to read. And then Red Rising, as Tori knows. I messaged Tori at the beginning. So
Yeah.
I'm not a fan.
Yeah, Tori doesn't like Red Rising, does she?
No.
No.
It's
No,
it's
definitely
mid,
not.
mid.
It's not in like. It's in that other one that's next to like.
I went out on the internet and bought a beanie on my head that has the
Yeah.
symbol for the book on it. Yeah, that. Yep.
Yep.
adjacent to like.
Yep. So
Just out of curiosity, with Red Rising, how many books are there? 4 with a 5th, 5 with a 6th coming out?
There's 6 and 7 coming out.
6 and 7 are coming out.
Mm.
And in your opinion, for those of you who have read it, does it get better as it goes? Does it start, you got to get past Red Rising in order to get to the stuff that you really enjoy? Or does it descend as it goes, or does it stay at the same level? What's the overall opinion?
I feel like that's a trap question, Andy. You can be asking that.
I mean, I have yet to read books 4 and 5. I have only read the original trilogy because that is, in my opinion, a closed trilogy. The next set is, its own thing.
I apologize.
It's fine. But yeah, I think book 1 gets a bad rap, honestly. I really love it. It's one of my comfort reads, weirdly enough. But book 2, I know, okay. It says a lot about me as a person. But I mean, you can see him grow as a writer through the trilogy for sure. And,
Yes.
and Morningstar is still my favorite ending to a trilogy of all time. So
Nice.
All right.
I'm very happy that I managed to ask a trap question.
on the bingo card.
Click. Okay. You got to get people in trouble. That's my real goal.
Yeah. Just get that bus and throw them right under it. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about points. And I'm going to go around the horn, and I think what I normally like to do is Jord last, because I believe in ladies first. So I'm going to keep it that way this time because they had the lead last week, and oh my gosh, what a lead! I mean, it was just coming in, stomping all over people. It's brutal.
We like to read.
It was like, am I even playing in the right league? Whoa. Okay.
But I also, since we're going around doing points, we'll end with Jordan. We'll see if anybody gets there. We'll see if his face falls.
Probably. I'm sure I lit the fire under everybody, and we get blown out this week. So.
I think you ignited a huge.
You see that door right there, Jord?
No, which to me that's awesome. Like,
yeah, absolutely. It's like, hey, look at the Spelunkers, we're awesome, and all 3 teams went, we're going to kill you.
Yes.
Yeah, we were like, sorry, what?
Target acquired.
Yep.
Well, it's so
we put the target on us.
It's so
You
hard
did.
the first week too because we're going in completely blind, right? Like nobody has a clue where anybody else is at, and so now it's going to be interesting to see how that changes.
Yep.
So I'm going to go in reverse alphabetical order among the ladies this time. So Tori, you will be first, and if you want to call out anybody on your team, books that you've seen a lot of people enjoying and reading, whatever you want. But if you want to dismount with your score, let's hear it.
So first of all, I just have to say, at the end of last week, I set a pretty lofty goal for my team for points this week. And man, these barbarians are not playing around, you guys. Like, this week was insane. I'm so proud of them. I can't handle it. So I want to call out Brian in our group. He is the first member of our team to commit all 5 books and 15 points as of, I think, a couple days ago,
Nice.
which is amazing. And we've got a bunch of people that have turned in their 4th books of the readathon now. You guys are doing amazing. Ty's in, Alex, Kev all have their 4th books in. So they've been great. Yeah, the books it's been pretty even actually. Like Sunland is still our leading with 3, but we have a couple books I think coming up this next week that'll be finished that might kind of equal that. Wistful Ascending there's been I think 3 in my team, which is awesome. I've got a couple blackjacks going right now, and yeah, so there's a lot of really good. It's been fun to see how many indie authors have been used for the prompts, not just indie author one. Yeah, so points wise, my team read 50 books this week, and we decided to see if George's team number was really that hard to reach. And I'm proud to say that this week, the Beanie Barbarians are coming in with 147 points for the week. And 39 points total.
I'm sorry, what's the total points?
239.
239?
Yeah, so pennies. I'm so proud of you guys. Done.
See? It is possible.
It is. It was
That's
like,
a lot.
what does that feel like? All right.
I'll show you what it feels like. It feels like barbarians raiding. I would like to raid.
You guys are awesome.
Nice work, barbarians. Okay, reverse alphabetical. So, Kay, what do you got on the bards?
Well, I just want to give a shout out to everyone on the Golden Bards because they've been chatting more. They've been going back and forth, sharing books they love, and just sharing strategies as well. And I love seeing that. So keep it up, everyone. Keep chatting away and keep reading, of course. I want to give a couple stats because there's a few that were a bit thematic and I wanted to share. So on my team, I've actually seen the most common series being read so far is actually the Red Rising series. So there's quite a few people who have been knocking out some books from there, Golden Sun, Morning Star. And our top read still is The Way of Adon by Philip Chase.
Nice.
Outside of that, we also have quite a few people who took on chunkers. So out of the submissions we've had so far, 8 of them have been the chunker prompt, which is incredible because that is a lot of reading to do in a readathon. Just that one book for your prompt. The lead so far is the recent addition to your TBR, of course. And for bonus points, we have 14 for published in the 21st century, with a close follow by debut author, which I love to see. You're digging into an author's first book for the first time. In terms of points, we had 147 points total.
147. All right.
Nice.
That is so. You got 147 points in 15 days.
Yeah, we're going steady here. You know, we've got a strategy. There's 2 weeks left. We don't want to burn out.
Oh, funny.
I mean, you're on track to break 300 points right now.
Yeah.
So that's impressive. Okay, let's take a look at the Smashers. And by the way, I just need to say, out of all of the GIFs, the Smashers kind of win. I mean, it's
Well,
just
yeah.
you can use anything.
They do.
You can. And it helps that so many of them you can just get from the MCU because the Hulk, hello. But I'm also a fan of the Thornberries, so I quite like having Nigel going smashing because I do actually often think in that tone of voice and go jolly good show. So yeah, but I can't find a GIF of that, unfortunately. But never mind.
We'll have to make one.
I will have to make one. I clearly have no strategy whatsoever because that's just not how I operate. But we are very much all about, look, everybody's reading something on their TBR, so let's just all cheer each other on and see how we go. And we're doing pretty good. We didn't get as many reads this week as we did last week. We only read another 27 books. And we've fallen off on a couple of bonus points because nobody wants to leave a negative review. And I'm kind of okay with that. I'm like, no, that's fine. The idea is to put positivity into the world, not add nastiness. So I'm kind of okay with that.
Well, if you want to make points for your team, you can leave a constructive criticism review of saying it wasn't for me, but people that like this, this, and this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can still get your points without being mean.
Yes.
This is true. Again, if it's not in somebody's nature to leave a negative review or something under whatever, then I'm not that person that's going to go, but I need you to leave a review. I'm not that person. I'm just not that person. So I may have to contact Mads and ask for some crystals to help. Who knows? But it does mean that overall we've read 56 books. And of those, we've had a really even spread of books. Like there isn't one book that's standing out. We've got, I think, 3 books. 3 people have read The Wavy Dan. We've had 3 people have read The Legend of Black Jack. And
Jack Black is much better.
Yeah. That was taken, though. So you were kind of stuck for that one. And there's another one that's been read 3 times that I can't think of off the top of my head, and I don't have in front of me on my charts. But we've had, as I say, only the one prompt of oldest publication date. And our biggest major prompt has been continuing a series, which, hey, in the fantasy world, that's going to be a lot of what we've got. But surprisingly, the second book in a series is well, perhaps not surprisingly, is my largest used secondary prompt. So, and then it's publication dates. So it's 21st century and the 20th century are the next ones. But it's been pretty even among everything, which is kind of awesome. And my star ratings of the 56 books, 40 of them are 4-star and better, which, hey, that's awesome. People are reading stuff they love. This is great.
That's awesome.
They're continuing series that they're enjoying. This is fabulous. And we've read over 25,000 pages.
Heck yeah.
I love
such
that
a great number.
That's an
It's
awesome
such a great
number.
number. Like we just tipped over it this morning with the last submission. 25,018 pages. Like, yes. So ultimately, that gives us a grand total so far of the month of 162. So we're smashing it. We're going. It's great. Yeah.
Absolutely smashing.
Smashing.
All right. So the highest point total we have right now goes to the Barbarians with 239. And now Jord is going to kill time for 10 minutes.
I don't know about that, but what random fact do you want from my spreadsheets?
Other than the, what is the most common word in the title? Thor.
Of. falls behind by like 5 only.
Right.
But it's amazing. But most of them use the and of. It's weird when you see the. Often of is shortly right there behind it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like the standard fantasy title, the blank of blank and blank.
Yes. But I also averaged out the number of pages per book, like for this week. And my team is phenomenal. They don't go with small books. We'll put it that way. Our average is 442 pages per book.
Nice.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
and our number 1 read book this week was Dragon Mage by M.L. Spencer.
Wow.
It's this big.
Yeah.
Yeah. That big book, like I was like the amount of times I've seen that on that, and I was like, all right, yeah, it's 832 pages, and that's good for 4th place on our longest book.
4th, did you say?
Yeah, 906 is the longest we have so far. So
Wow.
I'm sorry, what book is 906 pages?
let me go back and see. Prairie?
Oh, Priory of the
Priory of the Orange
Fire
Tree.
of the Orange Tree.
I think, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I'm guessing was a cover by.
Right. Don't
Because that cover is stunning.
It
ask
is.
how many orange trees were cut down to make these books.
Right. But yeah, but I'm super proud of my team. They're getting it. Super proud of everybody in the readathon. Just the amount of it's just fun to see everybody's comments and
Oh yeah.
how many books we're knocking out and things like that. But because we read big books, we didn't read quite as many. We fell a little bit short of our 50% to goal. We still read 34 books this week for a total of 246 points overall.
Nice.
Wow.
246 points overall.
Yep.
Oh,
Okay.
have invaded.
It's a race.
That's all right,
Now
Kay.
things are getting exciting.
That's all right, Kay. We let them take each other out, and we'll come in after. And
But
Right.
I do have to
Burn
point
out
out,
for us.
like, you do the math, like, it's very possible for the entire team to read 50 books in a week.
Yeah.
Yep, it totally is.
Mhm.
Yep.
That's
So-
absolutely amazing. So we are down to a 7-point difference between first and second place.
We can't leave it as a blowout. Those games aren't fun.
No. That's right.
Keep it
Jordan.
working now.
none of us are good at Smash Talk to begin with, and so we've got to have something to be
Yeah,
trash talking about.
I've played my fair share of blowout games, and those aren't fun.
No.
You like the anticipation and the angst of
Mhm.
back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I'm wondering.
amazing.
So we had, what was the total? George, you said how many books?
For the week, or
Yeah, for the week.
34.
And then Kay, you had how many?
For total
For
so
this-
far, I think is 49.
For this. Okay. I'll go with all of them because I'm really curious to keep track of like how many books total in the readathon we've read so
Yeah.
far.
Yep,
Jord, how many are you at total?
83.
83.
Wow.
Derry?
I was at 29 first week and 27 this week, so we're at 56 altogether.
Thank you. I was like, help.
Oh, my best friend came home yesterday, and she was like, "What have you been doing today?" And I said, "Maths."
Mhm. Right?
Yep.
And she was like, "Oh, why?"
So I don't. I'm bad at math, and I wasn't exactly keeping track of the numbers anyway. But I do need to say that the four of you are currently responsible for something like 175 books getting read in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Wait,
And
that's
all
right.
of them have had reviews, which is
number.
magic.
I have a number.
Go.
Okay, so between all four teams, we have read in 2 weeks a total of 269 books.
Wow.
That's
And they've
incredible.
almost
Insane.
all got reviews. Sorry, that's
Yeah.
the best. I've got goosebumps thinking about that. There must
Isn't
be
that
authors
awesome?
going, "What is going on?" Yeah.
Yeah.
Left,
That's
right, and
amazing.
center. Okay, so we're going to keep the energy up. We are going to keep the pace up, and we are going to keep reading up the stack of the
Oh, yeah.
TBRs until we reach the top. We've
We
got
are.
next week coming up, week 3, where we separate a little bit more, is my guess. Although Smashers
so.
and Guards are within striking distance.
It just takes 1 week.
Yeah, that's all it takes
It
is
does.
1 week. It's like,
Yep.
here go 50 books. Enjoy.
Well, my chonka took me the first week, and I didn't get mine in until this week.
right?
And I've got 4 short books to go. So,
Nice.
I'm sure
Yeah.
I'm not the only one with that sort of on their plates.
And I blame spring break. It's the worst.
Right.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure.
Sure, it's fine.
I've heard the excuses.
All right. So thank you all so much for participating. Thank you so much for cheering your team members on. And we will see you next week and in the Discord. See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.